Hello again adventurers, welcome to another exciting video. So as promised, today we're gonna be hiking a long loop through Retezat peak, 2482 meters. This hike should take around 4 hours one way, 5 kilometers and 1200 meters elevation. And the hike starts at this skiing center called Rozor, where you can also park the car. So we are starting at 12 o'clock and hopefully we'll have enough time to make a loop before darkness. Let's get started. So pretty much from the beginning, the path goes through this amazing pine forest and soon it gets pretty steep. Same like yesterday, we're paranoid about meeting a bear here, as Romania has the highest concentration of bears per square kilometer in the world. As I said in a previous video, it's very rare to see bears because they have exceptionally good sense of smell. They try to avoid human contact whenever possible. The only animals we saw today was this herd of sheep. About an hour and a half into the hike, we got out of the forest into the smaller pine trees and we are following this little stream now. And here we got a first view of the Retezat peak. It still seems quite a lot of elevation and about 2.5 hours of hiking to the top. Here on the right it's a peak called Glacial, 2265 meters, and on the left is the Retezat where we're going, 2482 meters. So now we are sure there are no more houses up there, so it's safe to drink the water because there is no sewage coming from them. And now the path is going through these rock fields with these huge rocks, which was created by the movement of Glacial a long time ago. And now we see there is still snow up there on the Retezat wall. Indicates really low temperatures, even now in middle of summer in July. As you are getting closer to the bottom of the Retezat peak, the terrain is getting more flat. There's also option to go to the Stevia lake, which is only a few hundred meters away on the right, but then you have to go back on the left to continue to Retezat peak. Alright, after a few minutes from the crossroad, we got to the Stevia lake, which is a normal mountain lake, pretty small in size. So if you don't have much time, I would recommend to skip this lake. We're a little bit ahead of the schedule, so we decided to stop here, have a lunch, because once we would get up there, it would be more windy and more colder. This wall also looks great for rock climbing or scrambling, something for Alex Honnold. And here it looks like a great shortcut through this canyon, but I guess they didn't make it here because it's full of snow most of the year. And for lunch, Sanya has sandwiches with hummus and avocado, much lighter than my lunch of pasta and vegetables, but I don't mind carrying extra weight. And from here, about 300 meters elevation to the top, which would take about 1 hour, and the path starts going pretty steep from here. Here you can see clearly how the vegetation areas are changing with the elevation. Down there you have a higher pine tree forest, then it goes into a smaller pine tree forest, and as you go higher you have only rocks and grasses. Alright, after about half an hour from Stevia lake, we got to this saddle with a crossroad. On the right we keep going to Retezat, but you can also go on the left to get back down where we started, another way. But from here it looks really steep and at least an hour of hiking. And here we got a great view of the highest peak of the Retezat range, Peleaga, 2509 meters, which would be a great idea for another hike. So now it seems like the path is going around left from the mountain, as it will be too steep to go straight, and we can actually see some people in the distance. If we have enough time after reach the top, we're considering to go down another way through that valley, which is another 7 kilometers, but if we don't have enough time, we just go back through these hills. And over here we got to that little passage to the lake Stevia that I showed you from down there. And I think there is even a path going down, so this should be a great shortcut here. We didn't know you could get through, so we didn't want to risk it. So now we're beginning the last steep part, so we should be up on the top maybe in 20-30 minutes. So this part also involves a little bit of scrambling, but it's not too hard. Alright, and here we finally reaching the top of Retezat peak, which took us about 4 hours, but it includes the lunch break at Stevia Lake. If you don't stop for a longer time at Stevia Lake, you can definitely make it in 3.5 hours. There's also possibility to get down on the left here with the blue sign through the valley, which we're considering because it's not so steep. Another option is to get down here with this red marked path, which goes on the left side from the hill. Alright, now we reached the very top of Retezat peak, 2482 meters. Now we're gonna quickly put on some clothes, because even though we are still warm, it's quite cold here. And then take some photos and videos of the surroundings, and then head down another way around. So down here we can again see the Stevia Lake, and it seems like some people are even going down here. But it looks involves some serious scrambling, even some climbing, so I would know if I would risk this one. And down here on this side we can see the lake we were hiking yesterday, Lacul Gura Apelor. And I see on maps.me that there are some paths connecting to the lake from that saddle over there. Alright, so we decided to go down with the longer path through the valley following the blue sign, so it should go around those hills that you can see in the front. Should be around 7 kilometers, but it doesn't seem so steep, it's a gradual descent. The adventure continues, let's go! So looking at the map, the path seems to be going near those lakes that you can see down in the valley, and then through the valley all the way down. Then we'll have to do one more ascent through those hills and back down. We also chose this side because it seems less steep than the other side, which is better for Sanya's knees. We're almost done in the saddle, and now we're gonna keep going left through this steep part all the way to those lakes down there. There it should be much less steeper. From there it's still a long way, and you can also keep going straight until this hill called Bucura, and from there you can also keep going more left. You get to the highest peak of this mountain range called Pelaga, which is over 2,500 meters. Here we just try to see if there is the path connecting to the lake, but there was this table saying the access is prohibited. And it probably says in translation that this area closed because of a nature protection. I think it's closed because there's bears that have their territories there, so it'll be even dangerous for tourists to go there. Here we see a sign to the hill Bucura over here. It's about 2 hours. can see, Sanya is going much slower here on this steeper part. On the other side was most of the time, but this side will soon get more flatter and will probably go much faster as well. Looking back, you can see how steep this part was that we just did. We already got to the first lake. It's pretty shallow, but it has a clean water, so I'm just gonna go in there and refresh my feet as we are in the shoes all day today. Over here we can again see the top of the Retezat peak. From down here must be at least 400 meters of elevation. And here we already arrived to the second lake, which was maybe 15 minutes away from the first lake. Here we see a sign that says Cabana Pietrole 2 hours, which is some cottage. Doesn't show the place where we're going, so we noticed that the markings in Romania are not the best, but still better than markings in Serbia, where they have only red and white circle. Here on the left you can see the mountain ridge that we would have to go through if we chose the other way to go down. Over here we can see these small pine trees on the side of the hills, but here in the middle there is nothing, it's totally deforested. So they deforested it for grazing the sheep, but then it became the national park and they just left it like this with the grass growing here. So the animal agriculture is the #1 cause of deforestation worldwide. So after we crossed the river down there, the path started going more up on the side of the hill. So looking at the maps.me, we have around 6.4 kilometers all the way back to the car, which should take around 2 hours. And now it's almost 7 o'clock, so we're gonna be back just before the darkness. And over here you can see how the vegetation is changing. The pine trees are becoming taller and we are slowly entering into a real forest. And here we got to these river cascades. We were just near the crossroad with that road that kept going straight to that cottage and also some campground. Alright, now it's about 7:15 and we just started this last ascent about 100 meters through this mountain ridge. Then from there it should be all downhill. We still have about hour and a half till the car, but we're not worried about getting back in the darkness because here in Romania it's getting dark at 10 o'clock in the summer. So on one hand it's pretty sad that the only forests are found in protected mountain areas and national parks, but on the other hand we have to be grateful that we have at least something that people at least care a little bit. Alright, and here we finally got up on the ridge where is the crossroads. So on the left you can keep going to the Retezat peak, which is about 3.5 hours away from here. So I guess it's the same time as through the valley, but only if you go here you would know for sure. And here it says we have another hour and a half to the Rausor where we parked the car. So let's finish this epic journey. So even though we're surrounded by this amazing nature, we didn't really enjoy it that much in this last descent because we were really tired, especially Sanya's knees were starting to hurt quite a lot. But even though the last descent was quite painful, I would still recommend this loop. It took us about 9 hours, but if you go faster without stopping, it can take you even less time. So we made it, we're already here at the ski slope. Our car is just down there. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy our short Romanian adventures. We only stopped for a few days because we're just passing by, but I will definitely come back here. It's amazing nature, reminding me of High Tatras mountains in Slovakia. Next we'll travel to southern Serbia for a trail running race and also explore the Stara Planina National Park. So stay tuned for those videos, and as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous!